A severe algorithm update slashed organic reach across the internet. Within 30 days, Liam's manual outreach stopped converting, his cash flow dried up, and burnout sent him to the hospital. Meanwhile, Cole's automated funnels simply pivoted to paid ads using algorithmic testing. He didn't lose a single hour of sleep, and his revenue actually tripled while his competitors panicked. Liam thought the secret to success was relentless grinding. Cole knew the secret was engineering a machine. He did it using a hidden framework called the frictionless architecture, a blueprint society hides to keep the masses trading time for money. The frictionless architecture is a ruthless, mathematical approach to output. It operates on a single, unforgiving premise. Human beings are the single greatest point of failure in any endeavor. Motivation is a chemical illusion. Willpower is a depreciating asset. Relying on either guarantees eventual collapse. The strategy mandates the removal of the individual from the execution process entirely. It replaces daily effort with front-loaded engineering. Instead of asking, how hard must one work today to achieve the goal, the architect asks, what system must be constructed so that achieving the goal requires zero daily effort? Society glorifies the struggle. It applauds the 4 a.m. wake-up calls, the caffeine-fueled all-nighters, and the raw grit of grinding through pain. This is a manufactured deception. The elite do not grind. They build infrastructure. The frictionless architecture functions by isolating the desired outcome and wrapping it in layers of automation, delegation, and algorithmic decision-making until the machine runs independent of its creator's mood, energy levels, or presence. The first pillar of the frictionless architecture requires destroying the reliance on willpower. Human psychology dictates that every decision made throughout the day drains a finite reservoir of cognitive energy, choosing what to wear, deciding who to email, determining what content to post, or debating whether to invest. All of it bleeds the mind dry. By the time high-leverage tasks demand attention, the mental tank is empty. To survive, the architect must build automated inputs. This means the system initiates action, not the human. In finance, it means capital is automatically stripped from the checking account the moment it deposits, routed immediately into index funds, real estate, or operating capital before the human brain even registers the cash exists. There is no manual transfer. There is no decision to save. The system simply takes the money. In business, this means lead generation operates blindly in the background. Software scrapes the contacts, algorithms send the initial outreach, and automated sequences follow up for 6 months. The architect does not prospect. The system prospects, and the human only steps in when a mathematically qualified lead raises their hand with a credit card ready. Willpower is entirely removed from the equation. The default state becomes progress. To fail, the architect would actively have to go in and turn the machines off. Once willpower is eliminated from the input, the next phase demands the complete eradication of the human bottleneck. Most individuals build operations, whether a business, a fitness regimen, or a financial portfolio, where they are the central gear. If the gear stops spinning, the entire factory halts. This is not a business. It is a self-imposed prison sentence. The frictionless architecture demands striped, emotionless, standard operating procedures. Every single action that produces a result must be codified. It must be written down, recorded, and mapped into a step-by-step logic tree. If X happens, execute Y. The goal is to make the founder completely expendable. When an operation relies on the charisma, the specific talent, or the unique memory of one individual, it is incredibly fragile. A single illness, a family emergency, or a period of burnout destroys the entire structure. By codifying every process, the architect can slot in software, artificial intelligence, or outsourced labor to turn the crank. The output remains identical regardless of who or what is pressing the buttons. The amateur holds on to tasks tightly, believing nobody else can do it as well as they can. The architect accepts an 80% proficiency rate from an automated system because an automated system can work 24 hours a day, 365 days a year without complaining, without requesting a raise, and without losing focus. Volume and consistency mathematically defeat short bursts of manual perfection. The third pillar transitions the architecture from basic survival into exponential wealth generation. It requires the deployment of asymmetric leverage. Traditional labor dictates a symmetrical exchange. 1 hour of work yields 1 hour of pay. The hustle culture mentality attempts to win this game by simply sacrificing more hours. This is mathematically flawed because time has a hard ceiling. The frictionless architecture dictates that effort must be completely detached from the result. This is achieved by code and media. A piece of software takes 100 hours to write. Once written, it can be duplicated and sold to 1 million people with zero additional manufacturing cost. A long-form video, an evergreen sales funnel, or a carefully engineered digital asset takes 1 week to build. Once deployed, it exists on servers globally, pitching, selling, and converting at 3 a.m. while the creator sleeps. This is the infinity curve. The effort is exerted exactly once, but the dividends are collected infinitely. The individual following mainstream advice attempts to serve one client at a time, customizing every interaction, exhausting themselves for linear return. The architect builds a digital fortress that captures attention, qualifies it, and monetizes it simultaneously for 10,000 people at once. The effort required to make $10 becomes identical to the effort required to make $10 million. A machine that runs blindly will eventually drive itself off a cliff. Markets shift, algorithms change, consumer psychology evolves. A static system dies. Therefore, the final tier of the frictionless architecture requires the implementation of closed-loop feedback. The system must monitor its own performance and flag the architect only when anomalies occur. If customer acquisition cost rises above a specific dollar amount, the system automatically pauses the campaigns. If a stock portfolio deviates too far from its target allocation, the software automatically triggers a rebalancing protocol. The human mind is deeply flawed when interpreting data. Panic, greed, and ego cloud judgment. The architect knows this and refuses to trust their own emotions. By predetermining the rules of engagement before the crisis occurs, the system makes the optimal mathematical decision while the rest of the market acts out of fear. The machine does not hesitate. The machine does not second guess. It simply executes the logic tree. Mainstream culture profits endlessly from the lie of motivation. The multi-billion-dollar self-help industry, the endless stream of motivational podcasts, the flashy conferences, they all sell the illusion that the only thing missing is a burst of energy. They convince the masses that if they simply hyped themselves up enough, success would follow. This keeps the population trapped on a treadmill. It ensures they remain exhausted. Tired people do not build wealth. Exhausted people do not overthrow established hierarchies. They simply consume more caffeine, buy more motivational courses, and burn out in total silence. Building a system is not glamorous. Mapping out logic sequences, writing code, recording SOPs, and optimizing conversion rates is tedious, slow, and completely devoid of dopamine. It does not look good on social media. There is no immediate gratification, but it is the only empirical path to untouchable freedom. Success is not a test of endurance. It is a test of engineering.